Hello, 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 and welcome to Benney Babbles. My name is Geraint Benney, and this is where I do my babbling. I can hear myself. Hang on a minute, let me turn that off a minute. This is where I do my babbling. As usual, something goes wrong at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. But this is Benney Babbles. Thank you very much for tuning in. My special guest tonight is another international guest, all the way from Mississippi. Give a big welcome to Eris Culpepper. Hello, Eris. How are you?
Hello.
Croeso mawr I Benney Babbles.
Diolch yn fawr iawn.
There we are. Put you across the bottom. Tonight's special guest. You've been invited to the launch of the new Benney Babbles because I've upgraded it a bit. I've actually spent some time and got things working properly as they should. As they should. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. So
glad to see you again. Hear your voice.
Yes. And it would have been around this time. Well, would have been this time that we would have been meeting up face to face, because you'd have been visiting, coming to the Eisteddfod.
Yep.
But unfortunately, with what's happening at the moment, there is no Eisteddfod. So are you going to have your own Eisteddfod?
Sort of.
Sort of.
I need to put my flags up, just especially for the Eisteddfod.
Yeah, because
even though we won't be there.
but you can be there. You can be there instead. You can't be there, but you can be there. You can have hiraeth, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of hiraeth, yeah.
And you could put on your own Eisteddfod.
and put it on my clogs.
Yeah, you do your own
clogs. Just put on some music.
Now there's an idea, Eris. You can put on your own Eisteddfod in your garden. You got the stones.
Yeah, we'll have to do, like, if there's anything like Clockshire or something like that, I'd have to do it in the house. It's hot outside. It's like at least it's over 30 outside.
Right now. Never. Do you want to swap? It's raining here.
Oh God, we need the rain. It looks like it wants to, but I don't know if it will or not. But
30. Oh yeah, that's hot.
Yeah. Every time when the Eisteddfod was in this month, I think that might be where we started staying in a tent. Loved it, but you've got to have your wellies with you.
Oh yes.
And I had hiking boots that said waterproof. That Friday was nice. Saturday was nice. Sunday, it just, what's the word? Pillio lawr.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Everything was soaked. The car park they were using, the passengers they were using for the car park, were just mugged. They had to pulling people out with tractors, moving the whole thing someone else. Yeah, but I was hot. The whole week. It was like 20 something. I forgot. Which should be cool-ish.
Yeah.
I was sweating the whole time.
It's a different type of heat. I've noticed this when I traveled and gone to different countries. Different countries have different kind of heat.
Yeah. I did the same thing around Llanrwst last year. I was just... I mean, shorts and t-shirt. I was still like, God.
As long as it wasn't speedos and a vest.
Yeah. I'm not going that far. No, I won't do that. No. I did have an episode with Prosecco. So.
Oh wow.
That was interesting. We went to I forgot the drama. Cariad, something like that. Cariad, something like that. It was Theatre Barracaus, I think, put it on. A mate and I went to see it.
Yeah.
And part of the drama, they had glasses of Prosecco they gave you when you came in. Well, I know one of the actors, he gave me both of us 2 glasses each.
Yeah.
And then halfway through the thing, they brought the bottle around and they were filling it up. So I ended up with, we drank about at least over a bottle, I think, a piece.
Yeah.
I was fine with it. Yeah, I was fine when I walked out the door, but walking back to the tent site, I started feeling. I was giggling. It was hilarious. I had to go back to the tent and just crash for a while because I'm not used to prosecco.
and the fresh Welsh air.
Oh, it was a hoot. I couldn't stop laughing. And when we met people on the pavement and sort of thing, I was just on the street and I was thinking, okay, come on, walk straight, don't you just come on, one foot and sort of the other. Come on, here you go, what you got is you. As soon as I pass, I'm just gonna lean on me mate. I said, oh, it was a hoot. But that's one of the fun things about going to the Eisteddfod.
Where was the Eisteddfod supposed to have been this year?
Tregaron. Which would have been the first time for me to be in Southwest Wales.
Yeah,
I was really looking forward. I am glad that they, instead of just moving it to, it's going to be somewhere on Pinllin route somewhere. I can't remember. It starts with a B, and I can't remember. I can got it marked on the map.
Yeah,
but, I'm glad they just postponed Tregaron until next year.
All so right, so it just put everything off for you, basically. Yeah, so nobody loses out.
Would be,
yeah. That is a far fairer way of doing it, rather, when it does move about, nobody's losing out there. Now, our viewer might our viewer might be wondering now, why is a man who lives in Mississippi and is American, born and bred, correct?
Yep.
Is American, born and bred.
Yep.
Why does he go to the Eisteddfod? And because the Eisteddfod is, all in Welsh. It's and it's a celebration of our language, and you come over to go to the Eisteddfod, and you understand every word that is being said to you.
Well, pretty much every word, yeah.
Yeah.
If it gets too formal, I get lost in it. But, and some dialects are hard to follow sometimes. But for the most part, you can understand it.
But you're a fluent Welsh speaker, really.
A friend of mine, she lives in Talisarn. Has helped me so much in learning Welsh. She's originally from Blaenau Ffestiniog, so some of mine is mixed expressions from Blaenau.
Yeah.
Some of it I picked up from reading Un Nos ola Leod, which is why I'll say dŵad instead of dod a lot of times. I can't remember the proper way to say it. To say us two, I say nistai. I say nistai.
Yeah, and I'd say
it's something from Caradog Pritchard. It's the way he wrote it. It's from the dialect from Bethesda. And also, I mean, I've been watching Tip on the Stad on Espadreg Click, and there's a mix of Covey and just North Walian. It's brilliant. I love it. But I'm starting to pick up some more of that now. So there's to get into Welsh. It's to speak to someone in Welsh. There's no telling what I sound like now.
Well, I complain that I don't. People say, "Oh, you speak?" Yeah, I said, "Yeah, I speak Welsh." You went to Welsh school. Yeah, I went to a Welsh school. And unless I speak it often, it slips. Do you know what I mean? And I've really got to think about what it is that I'm saying before I say it. But after a while, once say. After even it takes me an hour really to get it. It's like I start thinking in Welsh then, and then it comes back. But it's when I'm in work. When I'm in work, it's okay because I walk in through that door and my mind switches to thinking in siarad Cymraeg. We cerdded mewn a fi'n meddwl, right. Fi'n gera'n Benney pobl o Cymru, a mae rhaid fi siarad Cymraeg, ti'n and it's a proper switch on, but it's been I haven't had anyone really to speak Welsh to since the beginning of lockdown.
Yeah,
there's No,
Yeah,
no, go on.
English is my first language, but I swear there's a lot of times now. My Welsh is getting better. My English is getting worse. Because people that meet me for the first time, I'm pretty sure they think I'm foreign. Yeah. Because there'll be some simple word or expression, and I can't think of it in English, and I have to say it. I said, "Excuse me a minute." I'll have to say it out loud in Welsh, and think, "Okay, what is that in English? What is that in English?" And then I can carry on.
Yeah.
I speak French, but when I speak French, I think in Welsh.
All right. Well, now then, that's quite interesting. That is because they do share a lot of similar words, same as German.
Yeah,
Because they are Celtic languages, really, aren't they? So yeah, that you think in Welsh to speak French.
yeah. I would love. There's some others I would love to learn, like
Diddorol.
Breton. Diddorol iawn, yeah.
Diddorol iawn. Yeah.
A fi is wallgo, just nuts.
Na, hey, dwi'n wallgo.
Yeah, there's a lot of other languages I would love to learn, like Irish. I love the language. There's a lot of words that are the same or very similar between Welsh and Irish, but to see it written down blows my mind because there's so many letters. Like what's A-O-I, it makes the sound E.
Yeah. Oh,
And
that's more
it just,
complicated.
I have to think.
Yeah.
After you get once you get used to it, it's not so bad. But at the
Yeah, it
start of
comes
it,
back to you. Well,
God.
we've had a comment from Miss Bumford, and she says, Eris sounds more Welsh than you get. Thank you, Emma.
You sound like more from the valleys.
I am valleys through and through.
I love it. This you and is a mate of mine that lives in Cardiff. He is, I can't remember where he's from now. But has one of the most beautiful valleys accents. It's just it's so cool. That's what I like about Wales. So you see, it's all compact, but there's so much there.
There's so many different dialects, like you said. You got your North Wales, you got your South. They call it North and South Wales Welsh.
Yeah,
but in between there is such a mixture of local dialects and mixtures of it's Welsh is quite a complicated language.
it's like if you get around Carnarvon and Covies there, if they can word something that you will, unless you're from there, you're not going to understand it.
Yeah.
Same thing. People from Llanelli. I had a mate of mine. He died a year or so ago, but it was the devil of a time for me to understand him because his pronunciation, words they use, just everything is just. You have to really, really listen, and then you still might not get it. So
we got Thomas Davis as well. Thanks for tuning in, Thomas. He sounds Welsh as. See, you are Welsh. I remember the first time that I introduced when I was doing Benney and Egg show on Dapper FM.
Yeah.
And you used to tune in on a Saturday morning and get up at something like 2:00 in the morning to tune into us. Well, you were right.
Yeah. It was all good.
And I was, trying to explain to Eggy who you were and everything, and it's right. And then I had you then to send in some sort of voice recordings, talking about things. And I remember the first time I sent it to Eggy to listen to. He came back and he went, "Gay, he's not American, he's Welsh, but he's having you on." I'm like, dude, no, really. He goes, "No, he's Welsh, but he's Welsh. You could tell he's Welsh." And I'm like, "No, I had to convince him that you were American." Like it is, but you are. There's because I suppose you were local dialect is quite a strong American accent as well. The locals, I suppose, would it be, or is it?
It used to be more. I vaguely remember my grandma speaking, and there were words that they would, the dialect and accent that she had is gone completely.
Yeah.
But I thought it was hilarious in Cornwall. Occasionally they'll joke about people saying "directly." That my grandma would say that.
Right.
So, like you finish eating and you start taking things from the table. She says, just little on, I clicked up directly.
Well, I suppose, yeah, they would have brought, for all the people that came over, or they would have brought their dialects to and over, and it's it I was going to say it is incredible to think about, of what do the people you work with, because this is how you talk. This is for anyone thinks that Eris is putting anything on. Far from it. Even the local people think he's a foreigner.
It's a good thing. I love it that I know how to speak something else besides English, because there's sometimes it drives me absolutely mad. Plus, I tease Alex is one of my co-workers, and lots of times I'll say something to her, and as soon as I finish, she'll say, "What?" And I said, "You weren't listening to me." He said, "No." I said, "What did she say?" "I'm not ignoring you. I just tuned you out."
Tuned you out.
I want to thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
So I tell her, I'll just talk to the wall for a while here. Especially if I'm thinking out loud, I'll do it in Welsh. So.
Right. Yeah. I should start doing that more often. I should really, because you're still talking, you're still using the dialect. It's keeping it fresh in your mind.
With that and reading, which I love. This is one of those weird things. I love books, but I'm not really keen on to read. I've been reading one. God, I can't remember the author's name because I mix it with the Welsh word for bat. Islam. It's not Islam. Islwyn.
It's Islwyn.
Islwyn. I always want to say Islam. But wythnos in Cymru Fydd 2033. It's really cool. It's actually written for Welsh learners, but it's not for beginners at all.
No.
There's the verb tenses are a lot more advanced than this, but it's sci-fi sort of thing.
All right.
It's about time travel.
You'd have to send me a link to it. Because I enjoy reading myself, and over the last year and a half, I've been having. I haven't read as much, but I know why. It's because I needed new glasses.
I do too. I think,
and I need bifocals, Eris, because
I'm getting progressive.
Yeah, I'm getting old, and I need 2 pairs of glasses now. I need reading glasses, and I need normal glasses. So last week, I went and got myself some reading glasses because I was like this reading, and it's like it just do my head. So I should give up. And it's annoying because I've got a stack of books that I got ready to read, and it's like, right, I need to get onto them. But I was picking them up, and I was just like, So it's I'm not as young as I used to be.
If this talking about books, well, Unos on Leod is really cool. But again, I've got the first copy I bought. It's what's it called? Dual language. It's got Welsh on one side and English on the other.
Yeah.
Because Caradog Pritchard wrote it in the dialect from around Bethesda, and there are words you're not going to find in the dictionary. The way he wrote it.
Yeah.
That one's really good. I just finished reading Allanafo by Stephen Parry. It's really cool. Again, he wrote it the way he speaks.
Yeah.
So that I really liked. I've lost the book and I never finished it. It's in this house somewhere. Is Nigel Owen's
autobiography?
Yeah, I was trying to say Hinan, so English. Yeah, his autobiography. But again, he wrote it. When you read to read this thing, you can hear him speak.
Yeah.
And that's for me in learning language. That's what I like, because
Well, yeah.
the
Because
difference is
you can sort of you can picture him talking to you, basically.
Well, it's the same thing when I was learning French years ago. Well, when I started learning French, I took 2 years at the local college. Then I went in the Air Force. I was stationed in Louisiana first, and got to know some a family. They're not really Cajun; they're Louisiana French, which means their families came over after the defeat of Napoleon. So you got that mix in Louisiana. A lot of people just call them Cajun anyway.
Yeah.
But the differences in the French is interesting. There are ways, there are word things that you don't like. My first time outside the States was 1986. I went to France for a month, took leave, went to France for a month to visit a friend. He lived around Paris. They're not Parisian. A lot of his family lived around Paris. And we had finished eating, and Marie-Noël asked me, would you like some more? And like I would say in South Louisiana, I said, oh no, je suis plein. And everybody started giggling. I said, okay, what is it? Well, we wouldn't say it that way here. So what you said is like to say you're pregnant.
No, I'm fine. Don't anymore. No, I'm pregnant.
So you're full. I said, no, yeah. But it's hilarious. The same thing in between British English and American English. There's things I have to be really careful trying to remember. What can I say here and what can I say there? And in Welsh too.
Yeah.
Because you can say "what the devil" in English and it's fine. You say it in Welsh and people, especially if there's kids around,
Yeah. You're right. Yeah,
just
it is.
Don't use jowl. Be careful how you use that. But it just makes everything more interesting, I think.
Well, yeah, because it gives. I think being bilingual as if I didn't speak, if I wasn't bilingual, if I couldn't speak Welsh, then I wouldn't be doing what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have taken me to the places that I have gone. And I would advise anyone that that has had having children or putting them into school, then to put them into a Welsh school.
Yeah.
Because to be bilingual, I don't know, I think it gives you a different point of view.
Yeah.
It does give you a different point of view. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's even like I said, I don't use Welsh as often as I could or should really. It's I'm so proud that I'm able to. And I take my hat off to anyone that learns or even attempts to learn. It's sort of I've got friends that they've learned Welsh, and they've had quite a rocky journey because they've come across Welsh speakers and they've said something wrong, and instead of being joyful about what they've said, they've been quite angry that they've got how they you don't say like this, and it's like, no, you shouldn't scowl anyone for getting it wrong, because
I'll probably call him Kelly. The character of Kelly.
Yes.
When I started watching, it would have been 2011 or somewhere around there. So anything, I know she was on there before then.
Yes, yeah.
But I saw her when she came back on. And my first impression was she said like something about celebritio. And automatically I'm thinking, no, Dathlu. Why are you saying celebritio? But later I grew to really love it.
Because she's quite a unique character, really. Because she's I think it's supposed to be from Merthyr, and so she's a proper Valleys Welsh. That's how I speak.
Yeah.
When I speak Welsh, because I use, if I can't remember the Welsh word, I just use an English word, or basically I'll make a bloody word up between Welsh and English that I think it bloody is, and that's what our Valley Welsh is. It's a mixed potch of of everything really, because you speak in English as well, and you speak in Welsh, and so you go in between, so you just mix them up, and that's my Welsh. And I like this when I do speak Welsh to people. Normally, that's how we speak to each other. Is how Kelly speaks. Is so there's a mixture there, like.
Was it like at the Eisteddfod? Go to I forgot they've changed the name. It used to be the Learners Pavilion. You get to chat with people who they may just have started learning Welsh, maybe have just for a year, and a lot of them are so nervous about saying anything because they're afraid they're going to get it wrong. And I tell them, just talk, just don't worry about it.
Just talk.
If you can't remember it, just
don't
switch
worry.
to English for as long and back to Welsh again.
Yeah, because because like I said, that's how I speak. And when I'm in work, I speak Welsh to my the people I work with, and if I get it wrong, I'll say it in English, and but they are good with me, and they'll say, and they'll mine, oh right, diolch, right. Yeah. Because I've told them as well that they've got to, because I want to be able to speak more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's I'm missing it. I really am. But they start back to filming on the 10th.
Yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah.
Yeah, which is good to know. I don't know whether I'll be back. I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but let's see. I'm sure they put in a schedule together, but it's going to be a very tight schedule, like I imagine, and they're going to have to change everything. So it's going to be interesting, really. Cross my fingers. I'm glad the pubs are back open, at least, because I'm behind the bar. So perhaps I'll be lucky enough and I'll get in. But no, I'm really glad to see it back up and starting to work again, really. For everyone, because I know it's affecting so many people, being this lockdown, and it's all jokes aside, it is quite serious for some people, and it's for me, this is one of the reasons I started doing this, is because I need to be creating something. I know I'm only going the bar, but I'm a part of something creative, if you know what I mean. And it's been quite and not being able to go out and gig has also been a big thing. So it's life stopped. Lucky, I have gone back, and I am back in work doing my coaching and things like that. So that's keeping me going. But it's Pobble, fingers. Please call me. You got my number.
And me.
Yes. Look, no, he speaks better Welsh to me. You'll have him first. Mind you, the travelling back and forth. I know John Post travels back and forth to Fishguard every day, but travelling back and forth to Mississippi every day, they don't pay that well.
A lot of jet lag too.
It's going to get you again.
If they need another gog on it, I don't know. I could do South Wales, it's just I'd have to practice at it.
Well, that's the good thing about Pobble, that I like about Pobble, that it has got a mix of all the different types of, because you've got people from all over Wales that come in and out of Cwmderi, and it's you're an actor yourself, and I remember when I first started acting, it was quite difficult to because you had to have an equity to work for the BBC. You had to have an equity card, and but without an equity card, but without getting contracts, you can't get an equity card. So it was a sort of double-edged sword. So you had to kind of prove yourself, really, and do the low budget things, and try and make you in. And I managed to get to a point where I got myself a proper agent, Ted Wyman Agency, and at the time his first wife was running it, and we got on really well. We got on really well, and I said to her, "All I want to do, be on Publicum. I don't know. All I want to do," I said, "even if I want to work behind the bar in Publicum." Right? And that was my dream. That was my that was my dream. That's all I wanted to do. I wasn't bothered about anything else. I just wanted to be on Publicum and work in the dairy. And it was sort of, and I how I did it, I don't know, because I had lots of fun on the way doing other projects, and you meet lots of different interesting people, and but yeah, but it's and yeah, and it took me 10 years to get on Publicum. Well, I sort of done bits and pieces. I sort of days there, and then I sort of got on there. But then it took me another 10 years to work behind the bar. So my next thing was I want a part. It's going to take me another 10 years now to get.
Yeah. Okay, every now and then I wonder what sort of character would I be? What would they choose?
Yeah, well, yeah, it is. It is. It's and you know, if they did offer you a character and say it was something, and you were like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that kind of thing. Do you do it because it's a dream of yours to do, or do you say, I don't, I don't know about that one.
There's I know there's sometimes that people who watch something like that on television, or if they go to watch a play, and they see this. I know this because one that I worked with in West Virginia, and it was before I was there, but he was talking about this. I forgot what the play was, but his character was just horrible. He was like womanizer. He was just really used them and all this stuff, and he would. Outside the theater, he's walking down the street, and he would notice people going, "Oh, and they didn't disassociate the actor and the character." I always thought, even today, I seriously think if I were to be walking around, I forgot where Gary Lynch is from, Abertawe in
was that now? Richards.
Gary Lynch.
Richard Lynch.
Richard Lynch. I'm mixing
Lynch, Gary in the show. Yeah.
You'll have to change his name now.
Yeah.
But if where he lives, or even around his death spot, if I were to turn the corner and he's standing there, I would just that would be my first impression.
It's Gary Monk.
But I know he's the actor that plays Gary Monk. I've seen he was on 2016 the Shakespeare history plays.
Oh yes, in
him and Rodrich. Stephen Rodri, I think. Rodri Stephen. I get it all mixed up. Anyway, I'm horrible with names. But the two of them, it was all in English. It was the first time I've ever heard him speak English. It was really good.
Was that the one they done in Caerphilly Castle? Was it filmed?
No, that was Macbeth.
That was Macbeth. That's right.
Yeah, I think the National Theatre did it.
That's the Welsh version. That was in Welsh. That wasn't it?
Yeah, I would love to have seen it. I know. I think I know a couple of actors that was in that. Owen Glynn was in it. Owen Gwynn. Oh my God, he's really. The cool thing. All the people that I've become friends with, Welsh actors, national quality actors, just down to earth, super nice people to meet. I know
they are. They are like you see stories about in the papers about things like EastEnders and Coronation Street. But Pobble is a family. It is a real proper family, and everyone okay, not everyone's going to get on together all the time because families don't, and we'll have arguments. But we are when push comes to shove, everyone. It's about the show. Do you know what I mean? And everyone does knuckle, and that's the one thing that I really love about working down there, and that's not just the actors, that's the crew as well. It's just, it's a proper, everyone knows everyone, and it's just and that's what I missed over the last, since the lockdown, is I'm seeing my family.
It's been, since I've actually had a chance to work in theatre, it's been like 5 years, I think. And it's that environment that when you go through, you learn your lines, you go through rehearsals, and you have tech night and all this other stuff, and you finally have opening night. And the cool thing to me is when that curtain comes up, until it comes down, everything keeps going. You don't stop. If you forget your lines, if you flub, if you mess them, just totally make a mess of it. Someone's going to help you out. Because there was one with a song. It was a line. The two I was working off, one is a friend of mine. He noticed, because there was a little bit too much of a pause, but I kept doing something, and he might turn what I was supposed to say into a question, which brought me back into it, and we just kept going. It happened one time in the Tempest. It was my last thing that I was in at university, and I don't remember what happened, but I did the wrong line or something. And for me, it's not that hard. The Tempest is not the lines are not rhyming, so it's I'm more used to that language, because when I was a kid, King James Bible was the only thing we had. So I'm used to hearing that. The others were a lot younger, and you could see it on one of those faces. Oh my God! But we got back into it. And I think, honestly, the next night, someone else about the same spot did almost the same thing. So, that's what I love about theatre. You keep going. You just keep going.
You do. Something up if you have to. Now, where I take my hat off to you is, I choose to be an actor behind a lens, because if I go wrong, I can do it again.
I
can do it again. Now, Eggy has joined us. Eggy,
hello,
good
Eggy.
Evening, sir. A little late to the party. Don't worry, you can watch it back later on. You'd be Dirty, or Dirty Ben. Thank you. I would love. I would love to be. I work behind the bar, but I'd love to be the landlord of the Dairy Arms. I really would. I really. It would. It's. If the writers are watching now. Diolch. Well, yeah. There we go. Dwi'n gallu siarad Cymraeg, honestly. Tym bach.
It's young.
Oh, it's like I said, it's I love it there. I've left a couple of times for a number of different reasons over the years, but I always end up back there. And every time I go back because I miss it, and then I go off for something else, and then I come back, and it's because it is, like I said, it is a family, and I believe that you play a game as well with Publicum.
Yeah. Where's Benney?
Where's Benney? And
there was one episode, I don't remember how many years back, and I can't remember what was going on, but the main thing I remember is they're talking. You're standing sort of just to the back of him, but the door of the pub is over here. You're standing over here. They walk straight outside, and you're all the way down the street.
I remember that episode, because I remember you messaged me and said to me that was clever, and because I went back and I watched it, I was like, oh yeah. And I remember the day that I think we had to do a reshoot or something, and I think that's what the thing, and that's why I was in the both of them. It does happen now and again. I have got a twin as well. See, I got a twin that lives in Cumderry.
Continuity is not as easy as a lot of people think it is.
No, it's not. As I've learned, now I made a film back last November called Dad, and I was luckily enough to, to be able to try and put it together. I wrote it, and and I was like, putting it to edit it now is another question, because there's quite a few continuity errors in there that because I was trying to have a man with many hats on and do many different things at the same time, and then when we did start editing it, this happened. So me and Carl haven't been able to get together, but we're hoping over the next few weeks I'm going to go down and start editing it. But it's not going to be continuity free.
Yeah, I mean, if something like with a drink, if you have to stop and redo, like we at university, we did 2 films. They were silly, but when we would stop, someone went around with their phone and just took some snaps to make sure we knew exactly where all the chairs were and where this and that was.
Yeah.
But with a drink, to me, it would be easier for the actor to remember how much drink was in that when you started. Oh my God! When you had people smoking.
Oh, I was just about to say about that.
That would be an absolute nightmare.
Well, I used to be able to smoke in the dairy bar. I used to be able to smoke in the dairy bar, and so we'd be on set, and we'd be, puffing away, and it's like, you got to do it again. Oh, right, okay. Could they give you cigarettes to smoke? And it just, but you imagine if you've got a really long scene and you haven't thought about it, right? Say it's a party or something like that, and they're doing the same kind of shot over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's like I don't want to see a cigarette for the rest of the day, because it's like, nicotine overload. I remember I'd done this show called what was it called? Border Cafe. Okay, it was a BBC Wales production. It was BBC Wales production, and it was they threw quite a lot of money at it. It was supposed to be a cafe that was on the border of Wales and England. There was a bit of a love story. I enjoyed it. It was a great experience filming it. Apart from, it was dead of winter. We were on top of the mountain pretending it was summer in shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cold. And then we were in a quarry in Newport for the indoor scenes where they'd built. There was a studio, the old Hammer House Studios, which I didn't know until we got there. Nearly all the old Hammer House films were filmed in Newport, in a sort of warehouse in an old quarry opposite a castle. And this is we filmed this thing, and it was constant smoking. For some reason, they wanted everyone to be, if you smoked, then they want to have you always have a fag in your hand. That was hard work. That was hard work. That was, and it was just like, yeah, go on in. I love them. Could they give you a pack? And it's like, I'll take them home. Thank you very much. Dick them out. But it's so let's move on to you now. As I've spoken, I'll talk about me all night, but you are my guest, and so what's the word I'm looking for? Why did you learn Welsh? What was the draw of the Welsh language that?
When I was stationed, when I was in the Air Force, my last what do you call it, enlistment? Not enlistment. My last post was at what used to be RAF Woodbridge in Woodbridge, Suffolk.
Yeah,
love the area. I love the people. They're really nice. Incidentally, a mate of mine, I finally got back in touch with him. He still lives in Ipswich, still lives in the same house, but he's learning Welsh as well. He and his wife both learning Welsh.
No way.
But I went to Woodbridge 1988. I came back here in 91. But it was about 1990, I think, was the first time I ever went to Wales. I went through, and I'd learned a little bit. I don't really remember why I got interested in it then.
Yeah.
But I learned a few little phrases, but I really couldn't speak it. I could say hello, how are you, good morning. I could count, and that was it. But I went through Llangollen to Bethesda Coed. I think it's still there. There's a little campground there. Pitched my tent there. Fell in love with Bethesda Coed. Went up to Llandrwst. Loved it there. The little bookshop is still there, called Bisabaud. Same location. It is. I went there last year during the Eisteddfod. I had to buy some more books and things. It is so cool to walk in there. It's just like I'm home.
Yeah.
But that may be why I decided to do North Wales, because of being in North Wales then. But coming out of the Air Force in 91, there was no internet. There was no way to really keep going with it. But it was about 2010. I was watching Doctor Who, the special features of a Doctor Who DVD when David Tennant was the Doctor.
Right.
And they're interviewing different people, David Tennant and one of the directors in particular. His name came up at the bottom of the screen. I didn't pay any attention to it because it didn't click until I heard David Tennant say something about Eris Lynn. And it's the way he pronounced it is Eros.
Yeah.
Because I've been looking.
Yes. I know. Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
I have been trying to figure out where my name came from for ages. Because if you Google Eris as it's spelled, you'll get a Greek goddess.
Yes. Yeah.
It won't tell you any sort of variations from language as time went on. Because when any Welsh came like a few centuries ago to North America, during this census, most people couldn't read and write anyway. So you got the person writing names down. You tell them, if you said Eros, they would write, "Oh, it sounds like this," and that's what they wrote down.
And that's why you get called for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but so mine should be Eros. My grandfather's name was Arlis. I haven't a clue where it came from. It could be Welsh Arles.
Yeah,
not sure. So I joke around sometimes. Say I could change my name to Eros Abarlis. Sounds pretty cool. But yeah, that sort of kicked it off. And my grandma was a Goth. If you go back just a couple of generations, one of the records has it Goff, the Welsh spelling of it.
Yeah.
And also on my mum's side of the family, on my mum's side of the family, there's Williams and Jones. Right. A lot of this stuff, it was years later that I'm starting to find out here and there. But first thing, I went online, found, what was it? It's archived, BBC. Big Welsh Challenge. Big Welsh Challenge.
Not Talk Tidy. It was the other one. In fact, I'm in some of them videos that they done.
This one, Big Welsh Challenge. You can choose North or South Walian.
Yeah,
I choose North. You see, he was on Big Brother. What's his name? From Glyn Fist in the Og. Glyn Weiss. Yeah.
Glyn, yes.
He comes on first. And then you got little video clips that you can watch. And there's a couple of actors I have since become friends with. Hugh Garman is in it. Gwynfor Jones. God, part of it was filmed on the set of Publicum. But it's little clips enough for you to pick up here and there. I did all those. I wanted a little bit more. Went to original catchphrase is also
catchphrase. That's what I was trying to think of.
You got original catchphrase. I've got one of the old books from 1988, the language has changed. The way they taught then and the way they teach now is different.
Because
But
my
I did
dad
all
was
of
doing
that,
it
and
back then, yeah.
yeah. But after all that, I found it was Say Something in Welsh at the time. It's changed to saysomethingin.com, and did all the lessons that they had. And after about a year, I went to, that was 2011, 12, 2013 was the first time I went to this Steddfod. And I just sort of threw myself into it and decided that we're speaking Welsh. Got interviewed by Esbydr for something and all that. Have ended up a couple of times a few years ago. Alan Williams he went to Benney, and I happened to be in the area at the time and got interviewed there. So it was a lot of fun. You start meeting more people and more,
Yeah.
your circle of friends just keeps growing and growing.
And well, I'm waiting for him to give you your own little show, because when you think about it, it is a really quite a unique little story of a boy from Mississippi comes over to Wales and adopts Wales as his family, and learns Welsh and speaks it fluently. You'd be a really, really good poster boy for learning Welsh.
Yeah.
You really would, because people. I got friends that have learned Welsh and things like that, and but it's because they felt patriotic. They didn't learn in school, or they learned a bit in school. They wanted to learn more because they want to feel more Welsh, and it's like, but it's but you've decided there was no real reason for you to do it apart from I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and you've done it impeccably. Ardderchog.
Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Na, mae rhaid I fi gweud, I fi rhywun sy'n, fi siarad Cymraeg, ond Saesneg yw'r iaith cyntaf. Mae Cymraeg yn iaith ail. Ond, really, fi eisiau Cymraeg I bod iaith gyntaf. A Saesneg I bod yr ail iaith. For people that didn't understand that, learn Welsh and you will. That's all I can say. Now, the good advantage of speaking Welsh, I suppose, was going places, especially where nobody's speaking Welsh and there's more than two of you, and I know and speaking Welsh. Really, because and even we wouldn't even be talking about people. We just, because we knew that the first thing that people would think was they're talking about us. And we never, all right, we would be by the end of it, because we'd be finding it funny because we'd get in daggers. But using Welsh as a tool to antagonize people, I suppose, has been taken well advantage of.
There was one customer, this was well over a year ago, just being absolutely impossible. And I just finally thought, just dos summer. And anything after that was all in Welsh. It was just like, I can't anymore. Dwi'n mynd I siarad Saesneg efo chdi. Just dos yma. Dim siarad o weld di, oce?
Cer. Adre ti.
There's another expression I could use, but I'm not going to say that one.
Trachai bant, go on.
No,
it's like, and again, it's come in handy. I remember, I must have been about 13, 14, and I'd gone to St. Athens Air Base for their open day, and I kind of cut the queue to go to look at something. But I kind of cut the queue. but I hadn't realised I'd cut the queue until afterwards, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the family behind me were all Welsh speakers.
Yeah.
Now, and they were quite vocal between each other. None of them said anything to me personally, but they were all quite vocal between themselves, how rude I was. And this guy, this young lad has come in front of us and everything like that. And I'm standing there and I'm kind of giggling to myself because I know that they don't know that I understand every word that they're saying.
Yeah.
And it went sort of they went quiet for a bit. And I just turned on and I went, ti'n gallu mynd o flan fi, os ti eisiau. And the faces just, oh my God, no. And they went, no, it's okay. You go. Ti'n gallu mynd o flan fi, os ti eisiau. And the faces were a picture. And I thought, that now, see, if I would, if I didn't speak Welsh, they could have, that would have been a different situation. But it has its advantages.
Yeah, definitely.
And hefyd, ma fe'n iaith, ma fe'n iaith romantic iawn hefyd. Ti'n gwybod?
Mae'r barddoniaeth yn... Dwi'n mynd dallt lot o'na fo, ond mae'n just gwych iawn, mae'n smooth, mae'n really poetic, mae'n sŵn y geiriau.
Well, I'll have to send you...
I've noticed...
No, go on.
Go ahead.
No, go, you go on.
I've noticed that in the book that I'm reading, there's something about the way he wrote it. I mean, it's not the way I speak, but it's this kind of what do you call it? There's a flow to it.
Yeah,
that is just so nice.
It's magical.
It's not poetry, but it's just the way he writes it is really cool.
I really believe that Welsh language is a very magical language.
I would love to be able to understand the poetry, but it's like...
Oh, I can't either. Don't worry about it.
Well, it's the interesting thing. There's a lot of people that it's the first language speakers that will tell you that they have trouble.
They can't understand it because it is ancient Welsh. It's been sort of... Welsh has changed so much over the years as well. We've adapted. It has adapted. And I'm glad it's adapted, as long as we can keep that history there, But I think for it to last, it's got to adapt.
Yeah. We were talking about like people being purist earlier on. Every language is going to draw words from other languages around it.
English is the most perfect one.
Oh God.
English is a mix of every language under the sun.
I cannot stand sometimes to write something in English because I can't think of how to spell it. I get so confused in English spelling now. It's horrible. Some of words that I want to spell it as it's spelled in French is the same word that we took from French into English, but the spelling is changed or something. But there's examples. If I remember correctly, after the fall of the Roman Empire, and the Germanic tribes begin to really move. The Vandals moved down into what's now Spain, but because of their, as I remember it, is because of their belief system that you don't marry outside your own people, and you must keep everything pure. Their group completely pretty much died out. The name of the city is still there. It should be Vandalusia, but it's Andalusia. Was named after the Vandals.
Yeah.
But any time people have tried to make a language pure, it stagnates and it'll die.
Yeah, and we got to move with the times, and every language. If we went back, if we had a time machine here now, and we went back 100 years, right? In Aberdeen 100 years ago, and anyway, London even.
Yeah.
We would have trouble talking to the locals because they wouldn't understand what we were talking about. We'd have certain words,
words that have changed drastically. Things that you could say then you cannot say now. People think the wrong thing.
Yeah, it is. They evolve language, and that's what language is about. It's about it evolving, But and it's sad. I said I love speaking Welsh. I want to speak more, and I am getting more opportunities now because there are more people that are learning, especially in the valleys. I think there's been a turn in the tide in the valleys about Wales as it's and the Welsh language. Because the Welsh language had such a pace in over the years about what's a dead language, what do you want to learn that for, but that tide has turned now where people are thinking, oh well, no, hang on a minute, that's part of our identity, and I want to at least try and learn some of it, and I would rather see people try and learn a bit and evolve with the language.
Yeah.
Because you'll still have your purists then, because you'll still have them. They'll still be there, but then we can still have Welsh being spoken every day by Welsh people. Yeah. It may not be the Welsh language of our ancients, but it's still carrying on that tradition of being the Welsh language, and I'd rather see that happen. I believe.
I think recently I was wondering what it was like say 2,000 years ago-ish, when Britain was under Roman control. Was there people then saying the same thing, because there was a lot of Latin that moved that went over into Welsh then?
Yeah.
Even the word dysgu comes from Latin dysgere. Comes straight from Latin.
Geraint. Yeah. It's from the Latin name Gerontius or something. I can't. But it is. Yeah, it comes from. But most Welsh names are derived from. There's lots of Latin in there.
Well, Eros, it comes from the Latin. It derives originally from the Latin word for gold.
Gold.
Aer in Welsh.
Oh, right, yeah.
Or well, in French it's I can't remember what the Latin is for it now. But yeah, this. I mean, if you look through English, there's so much of it that is just jam-packed from all over the world.
From all over the world, yeah.
Bamboo. When I was growing up, we called it cane.
Yeah. And but it's bamboo now.
All of a sudden, everybody's calling it bamboo. Well, that's like a Malaysian word or something. So why you want it? It's called cane.
Yeah. We call it cane. Yeah.
So.
Because I get teased. I don't know whether you've come across this of. Says it Welsh. Oh, Welsh, poppity ping. But it's like, well, it's not called poppity ping. That's just a slang name for it. But it's like, oh yeah, but you haven't got a proper name. I was like, well, when Welsh was invented, the word microwave has been made up, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every word that you speak has been made up, especially every brand that you look at has been made up.
Yeah. I saw one the other day in Welsh. What was it? It was for telephone, but it was
mobile, was it? Or
I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was an older word. Nobody's going to use it now.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. I remember when I took German years ago, and my German's horrible now, but I do remember the actual German word for telephone is Fernsprecher.
Fernsprecher.
Fernsprecher. Fern is distant. Sprecher, to speak. No one's going to use that. They'll say telephone.
Telephone, because it's easier to say.
In Welsh, we got gliniadur, laptop.
Yeah.
People's going to use the laptop.
Yeah, because it's a laptop. It's a laptop.
Computer.
Yeah, cyfrifiadur. Phone symudol. Mobile phone. No, I don't mind. Yeah, it's symudol, because you're moving about. That's brilliant. I like that one. When I first came across phone symudol, I was like, oh, yeah, that kind of makes sense. But I think some things don't need to be translated.
Not really. Well, like in French, you got T-shirt, dog, hamburger, business, job.
Yeah. A good friend of mine. I won't say his name, but he's a big traveler. Okay, he's a big traveler, and he travels all over the world. And when I speak to him, and when we do speak, we usually speak Welsh, because he doesn't get the opportunity. So when he comes home, he wants to speak Welsh. And I ask him places where he's been, and he says all these different places in Welsh, right? And it's like, where's that? And he'll say where it is, and I go, so why didn't you just say that in the first place? Because that's what it's called. That's what it's called. I wouldn't, that's what it's called. Don't call this thing, really, everyone should be calling Wales Cymru. We're not Wales, we're Cymru.
Yeah. It made me think of something. There's in English, there's some words, like Paris I have no problem with, because I heard that years ago.
Yeah.
But words, certain place names that I've learned, or country names are here and there that I learned years later, I have trouble pronouncing them in English.
Yeah.
Like you got Paris, there's a little place, there's a town sort of to the northwest from there, I think. Cergy. I have to put it Sergi.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce it in English. But same thing, if I talk about the island to the west of Britain is Ireland.
Yeah.
You go to Ireland over there. You go to the north, you go to Scotland.
It is, though.
But every time it's the names of places, it's like I got little switches in my brain for, we go to this one, this one, this one. But it's, I never knew I did it. I think I still do it. It was years ago. I was standing around talking with some friends, and one friend, she started giggling, and I said, "What is it?" So, do you realize every time you mention another place where you've been, your accent changes a bit? Does it?
Yeah, it's because your memory, when you're talking about that, it takes you back to being there, and that's how. See, the mind is an incredible place.
I've told people before, if you could connect something to my brain so that you could put it on the screen with all your visual people. Oh God, listen. No.
No, yeah, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen.
Put it over here for a while. Oh God.
Yeah, it's definitely family viewing. Definitely not family viewing. No. Let me just alter my light a minute. It's gotten a bit dark in here, and that's giving me a bit of
mood lighting.
Mood lighting. It's.
Well, I moved this over here. I'm usually, there's a recliner back over there somewhere, but I have a tendency, if I'm in the recliner, I like to rock, so I'll be doing this.
Well, my chair is a squeaky, so I do try not to move too much, because it's old. I need a new chair. If anyone wants to buy me a new chair, just get in touch. And no, so and you have got a really interesting, interesting story to tell. Going back to SOC giving you your own little show, Eris's journeys or something. But it would be. I really think it would be a really good exercise for Welsh to encourage Welsh speaking. for people to go and learn Welsh. Because if you could be bothered, a man from Mississippi, then,
I thought about trying to make some small short films, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, which that's a lot of work just to do 10 minutes. That's hours and hours of work. But one was about water in the area. We have water lines that go to different houses now, but even when I was a kid, there were people that still had hand dug wells.
Oh yeah,
that they were using. Most of them had a pump for that well, but those wells were still there. There's one, if you go straight back from here, there's a wooded area. I know if you go down the hill and up again, I know where it is, but if you don't know where it is, you have to kind of start looking because the well is still there, but the wall around the top is gone.
Right.
So you can be walking along and just fall in the thing.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Yeah. Sometimes, some parts of the year there's water, and other times it goes dry. Stuff like that. From there to between here and Meridian, they did some work on the highway, and I think they covered this over. But there was a place there. It's called Drinkwater Springs.
All right.
Where my dad was born and raised. It's about 13 miles or so further back, right on the Mississippi-Alabama line.
Yeah.
Right before he was born, when my grandparents' time and great-grandparents, if they needed to go to Meridian, it would take them about 3 days journey because they would by wagon they would go to the spring there, stay the night, go into Meridian, get what they wanted, come back that night, stay the night again, and then go back home. But just things like that, certain springs of water where people went, and then the reservoirs. One sort of circulating around water. There's a house in Meridian called Mary Hope. It's the only one that wasn't burned during the Civil War. The story is that it was used as a Union command post at the time.
Yeah.
The architecture in there is amazing. And like anything, even going to a castle, or these beautiful estate houses. A lot of people think of the people who live there and their wealth and all. To me, I look at it and think of the craftsmen that cut the stone, the wood and all this, and knew how to put all this stuff together. And just to run your hands along and say, because it's all handmade. Something like that. But I could do like an introduction, parts of it in Welsh.
Yeah.
And do an interview where you ask the question in Welsh, but I have to do all the filming myself. So I need to set up 2 cameras, like one on me, one on them, and just do some editing here and there.
Not necessarily. You can do it with one. Don't make it.
I can make it more interesting, so you got different shots.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's even though I'm on this side of the water, Eris, I'll give you as much help as I can because I like to encourage anyone that's got any creative streak in them to go and do what they do. That's why I started Lights Camera Fraction, is because if I find something that hang on a minute. That's easy. I can do that on my mobile phone. I put it in there so people can see how easy it is to go and make films on a mobile phone. We don't need cameras anymore. We can use our mobiles. I want to see another film of you soon.
I had an idea. This is well over a year ago. We were watching the stuff that you and Carl did.
All right. Yes.
And I had an idea because there was one that you did. I can't remember what it was. I kept thinking, this would be a cool idea because you could film part of it there and I can film part here.
I
shift something, it was something sci-fi, something another to it. But it would be really cool. I got some ideas for some films in my head, but I don't have this set up right now to do it.
Well, I use my mobile.
One has to do with the phone. Fella moves into a new house. There's an old phone in the house. It's not connected.
Oh, you broke up then. Can you hear me?
We're freezing up.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, you'll have to repeat that because we lost you for a second.
It froze up a bit. I hear you now. Yeah. No, one of them was it was a rough idea of a guy he bought his new house. Also, it's an old house, but he just bought a house. He
Yeah.
goes in, there's an old phone, he disconnected, so he leaves it there. It's not connected to anything. And like certain times, like maybe in the middle of the night, he swears he hears a phone ring. And little by little, it's sort of the phone actually ringing and him, the time of that sort of comes together slowly. So one
Yeah.
day he actually answers it, and there's somebody on the other end that used to live there. So it's almost like you remember the film Frequency.
Oh right, yes, yeah. With the girl with
Daniel something or
the talking
another.
to her father
Daniel
with
Quaid,
the
I think, was in
CB.
it. It's something. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
something roughly like that.
that's doable.
There's another one I have, another idea that I had that was it's pretty dark. It's like just something going on in someone's mind,
Yeah.
and there's something they have to face in life, and they don't know how to do it. And all the different characters are that person because there's no one else in the area that speaks Welsh, so this is perfect for me. But each one is a different part of him. I mean, one that is just this really dark, horrible, nothing as good is going to come out of life sort of character.
Yeah.
Another one that is just so distraught that just can't help but break down crying. Is all the parts of what we are inside and how it
All right. Yeah.
brings
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
And one that is sort of the balance. Is trying to talk reason.
Yeah. See what and you can
I've got it. I've got it in my head. I just have to write out the script and
write it down because you play all the parts yourself, obviously. And if you remember, was it 2 years ago? I done or what was it called? No, what was it called? I can't remember what it was called now. Where I can't remember what it's called, but it was me sitting in my car talking to myself.
Yeah.
I do quite a lot of them because it's easier. So if I get an idea and it's like I can't find anyone to do it with me, so I just do it with myself. It's easy. It is easier. It is easier because you know exactly what you want.
There's two videos that there's two videos short films that I made. One in 2012. I hadn't been speaking Welsh that long.
Yes.
I've got that one and another one I did in 2012, which I want to redo one of the characters in that because I was trying to do a character speaking South Walian and it's just I don't like it. Which the setup would I can set that little portion. It would be easier for me to set back up again and go back through and edit because there's some when you get on a film when you're editing and you think you're finished and you watch it again. And there's one segment that's like a second too long. You've got on that image too long. It should have gone over to this now. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah, I tend to edit it on my phone as I'm filming it, so that I can. I know then I know what I'm doing. I mean, I don't lose. It's easier to edit that way than me filming it all and then coming home and then trying to put it back together. So I can edit it as I'm doing it on the phone, and that to me has been amazing because it's like you think there are TV shows, there are films being made now on mobile phones that are going into the cinema. And you wouldn't know any difference with that than whether it's a camera or not. Technology has come on in leaps and bounds, especially for filmmakers, I think, independent filmmakers, because we don't need to have cameras anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing I've noticed has come out of the whole pandemic is people's creativity with podcasts. There's a bar in Cardiff that has been doing all sorts of shows because they got 4 or 5 of them that live upstairs. So they've been putting on shows because people that couldn't get out. They've raised money for charities doing that. So it's just taking what you know how to do and doing it a little different.
Yeah, it is. I've wanted to do a podcast since Dapper days, simply because it was the new thing coming in, and I was like, oh, I'd love to do it, but you need too much equipment. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. But then I was introduced to this during lockdown. Me and Egg decided we'd come back with something for the weekend, but we weren't doing it through Dapper because we couldn't go to the station. So we thought, oh, we'll do a podcast. So I looked into a few things and it was like, hang on a minute. This is all I need to do is just log into something here and I'm there. It's done. All I could do is just put a link somewhere and I'm there. And I couldn't believe how easy it was because I just overthought it.
Yeah.
Overthought, I watch lots of podcasts and listen to lots of podcasts and, you think, oh, they got all this equipment, but
yeah,
laptop, pair of headphones and a mic and you can go. You can go.
Yeah. One of these are broke too. I think the tape back together.
Like Jack Nicklaus glasses.
Yeah, I can't fold them up anymore, but I just use them with a laptop.
We've got
to throw them out. They work.
Well, we've got a visitor. Can you see? I don't know if you can see him because he's his cat. He's come to sit on my lap. In other words, what he's telling me is, Dad, it's time for dinner. Because it is time for his dinner. And he comes and bites. He's been nice tonight. He usually just comes and bites me. I've done a few podcasts where I've been just talking away and I go, ah! because I haven't taken any notice of him and he just bite me. But he's been nice tonight. He's been nice tonight. Go sit down for 5 minutes and I'll be there now. Yeah, he knows exactly what I'm saying to him. Oh, right, he's coming back. Right, well, Eris, diolch yn fawr. We've got to do this again. We've definitely got to do this. Yeah, look, he's biting me now. We've definitely got to do this again. Thank you so much for being my guest tonight. I said when I asked you, was it last Friday or something like that, or was it on the weekend? I can't remember. No, one day last week.
Right before the weekend, right at the weekend, so yeah.
Yeah, and it was like I hadn't done one since my last one with David Pugh. If anyone wants to go and watch that, excuse me, a fly. If anyone wants to go and watch that, they can go to Benney Babbles on YouTube and the same on Facebook as well. Really good interview there. Really interesting. No, I had an interview. Like I said, it's been about a month since I've done one, and I was like, wow, who can I jump back into with? And I got you on my list on the wall here, and I was sitting here and I looked at her. Eris, we need a catch up. We haven't spoke for ages, so I knew we are. So yeah, we'll have to have more. I want to see. I want to hear about your Eisteddfod you're going to do in the garden. It'll have to be midnight Eisteddfod because it's too hot in the day.
Yeah, I have a fan. It's not traditional, but this is it's needed here. God.
It's 3:30 in the afternoon there? We're coming up to.
That, yeah.
So, I'm going to leave you get on with the rest of your day and write your next film. And
I've got a play that I've been writing. I've got just the last act, the last little part of it. There's one character I've got to add something to it. Then read back through it, and then I need to send it out and let some friends read it. It's all in Welsh. I decided a while back I'll do all my writing in Welsh now. So,
well, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. Yeah. No, you got to start, but you got to send it to people then.
Yeah, let them read it. Make sure that it makes sense to them. There's a story that I started writing. I need to get back to it sometime. It's another sort of, I don't know if you call it sci-fi or not. It's a little bit Mabinogi.
Right.
It comes through the mist from the other world sort of thing. But and I thought about something the other day that I didn't think of before, is that the one character, because he's gone to the other world, can go back in his own timeline and leave himself a message to remember to do something later
I need
that
to
will
do that.
connect him to this end.
I need that. I
Oh
need that
God!
desperately. Yeah.
I mean, it would be a book like this thick. Remember to do this.
Yeah, they wouldn't be leaving notes. They'd be leaving me, but yeah, novels. Yeah, read this, please.
Yeah.
I want to make
But,
sure you get to where your destination is.
see like this.
Well, I think we should write something together, and like
Yeah.
your idea you said earlier, and then we can do it. You can do your bit there. I can do my bit here, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think that'd be. I think
Did you
that'd
know,
be a
even
concept.
did you get a chance to watch go see Llwyth? It would have been like 10 years ago, or did you get a chance to see Tylwyth
No,
this year?
no,
I missed Llwyth. I think three of the actors that was in Tylwyth. It was brilliant. I loved it. Everyone did such a fantastic job, but it's a mix of English and Welsh. One of the
right.
characters was a friend of mine. I think he lives in London now, but he plays Gareth, I think is the character's name. But his character only speaks just a little bit of Welsh, but Mike doesn't speak Welsh. I mean, if I
Right,
were to speak to him, he wouldn't understand me.
right.
But you've got lines in Welsh, so I mean, you can learn it. I've learned a monologue from The Storm. It was my character from The Tempest, Gonzalo. The last thing Gonzalo says in the play.
Yeah.
It's the Welsh of it is. I know it now, but at the start of it, it's different. I keep wanting to change it the way I speak, and you can't do that.
No.
But yeah, anyway, we could possibly do something like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just Welsh. It doesn't have to be just English.
No, it can be a mixture
Um,
of both. In fact, right, I've just had an idea, and I was going to say then what it is, but I'm not going to say it because it would give away a twist to the whole project. We leave that there. We'll talk about this off here.
Yeah.
Right. Well, cat wants his food. I need a cup of tea, even though my milk has gone off. I come home and my milk has gone off. So I'll have to have a cup of tea without milk. I know. I don't mind a cup of tea without milk. I'll have an Earl Grey instead. But I do like to have a cup of tea. So yeah, we'll speak. We'll arrange another talk in a couple of months' time. Hopefully, the world would have got back to a little bit more normality. Oh, I did want to say to you, obviously, you got your interest in Wales now and an interest in language. There's a gentleman that I come across on YouTube. What's his? Let me just have a look for it a moment. And he does sort of Welsh history, but it's not Welsh history as we know it, if you understand what I mean. So it's sort of because Welsh history as we know it has been watered down greatly, which we all know this anyway. But this guy has followed the works of Alan Wilson. Was a gentleman that let me have a look what it's called. It's called Britain's Hidden History on YouTube. If anyone wants to go and have a look at that, go and have a look at it because I want to try and get him on my show because some of the stuff that he talks about is really, really interesting about going back years of our history and talking about the Welsh language and its connections with other ancient languages. So I'll have to send you a link to the one to it. I think you'd really enjoy that. Anyway, and again, it's called Benney Babbles. It's coming to the end. I'm babbling again. Eris, diolch yn fawr I ti. Diolch yn fawr I Cat as well for biting me again. Thanks everyone for watching. You can listen back if you didn't catch all of the show by watching us again on YouTube or going over to going over to YouTube and subscribing over there and watching us there, or you can watch us again on Facebook. Right. good night from me, good afternoon from you, and
Pnawn
da, noswaith dda. Ta-ra, everyone. Have a good one. Bye.